Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Today I wanted to talk about Star Marine and the first-person shooter combat elements in the mini-persistent universe, what we can expect now, in the future, all that sort of jazz. So what is Star Marine? It did occur to me that some people might not actually know they have been following Star Citizen, and for people that have forgotten, Star Marine is the first-person shooter arcade sister of Star Citizen, akin to Arena Commander, but on foot. You're not in your spaceship, you're running around. It's Counter-Strike, but in the Star Citizen universe. And the idea there is that you can jump quickly into online games with some form of matchmaking, or just it puts you in a game anyway, on foot to fight in various levels and game modes with teams. So some of the footage that we've seen of it shows off the Gold Horizon level, which has a gravity generator. It's an old space station, and that gravity generator can be turned on and off. That changes the dynamics of combat on the level. And the game mode, the Gold Horizon game mode, is sort of team elimination. Counter-Strike style, once they're dead, the team wins and vice versa. So we've seen a lot of stuff that hasn't actually been implemented in the mini-persistent universe yet. There was some weapons, gadgets, grenades, which I'm really looking forward to. It's so important to get gadgets and grenades in there. Armor actually working, implemented, I think, with attachment points, with loadouts. Stances, there was medical triage-based stuff as well, dragging of bodies. And just some other general equipment as well. We've also shown Satterball in some of the older videos. So this is an Ender's Game style mode for two teams that compete with zero gravity, grappling hooks, stun guns, and a ball, and they've got to get the ball in the opposing team's goal. I suppose it's kind of like Blitzball from Final Fantasy, thinking about it, and you're kind of floating around there. So yeah, we saw some pretty good stuff, and it seemed, at least when they were playing on local area network, that everything was working and it was all fleshed out. So that all sounds cool. When's it coming out? So that all sounds cool, right? When's it coming out? Well, March 2015. Hang on, that's in the past, that's last year. Yes, you are correct, the mode has experienced delays, and the FPS element was released in the mini-persistent universe instead. So that arcade style, jump in and play of Star Marine was put on what seems the back burner. They had implemented some form of first-person shooter in the mini-persistent universe that they could test. We know that they used to have issues with network code syncing and jukes with the Star Marine. In fact, they were giving us regular updates in Star Marine. I think the last proper update we heard from Star Marine was the end of October 2015, which said work continues on Star Marine proper as well, although the priority is getting Alpha 2.0, which jumps ahead and introduces FPS gameplay to the persistent universe ready for launch. To that end, we're focusing on Star Marine related tasks that will impact both planned releases. We are also broadening our weekly update to focus more on the task at hand. Expect to hear about Star Marine proper after 2.0 is released, but know that much of the FPS work happening right now will apply to both releases. And at the end of January 2016, in 10 for the Chairman episode 75, Chris Roberts very briefly mentions Star Citizen's future in regards to Star Marine, just saying that Star Marine's still in the works, it's not been canned. He gets annoyed that people think that it's been canned and say that it's been basically abandoned, and that the game doesn't require it as a priority at the moment. I'll link all of these articles, all of these videos and stuff in the description below for people that do want to read into it more, want to find out a little bit more about those things that have been said. So they're working on the mode still there, but they say it's unnecessary for them to complete it as a priority anymore, as they have all the metrics and data they need incoming from 2.0 of the mini-PU release and onwards. So what do we actually have now? What constitutes FPS-based combat in the mini-PU? So pretty much anything outside of your ship. You spawn in Port Olisar, you walk around your hangar, you visit ArcCorp Area 18, you browse and shop in 2.4. That sort of stuff. That's all first-person shooter kind of experience. You may not be always shooting, but it is first-person. There are a variety of EVA missions, scavenging, going around Covalex, doing missions there. There's locations and mechanics in like Korea. There's the security office there. There is quite a lot of first-person shooter combat going around Korea. In fact, that's the place to do it really in the mini-persistent universe. There's an armory there. There's loot there. There's a mission to guard it. There's a mission to hack down your rating to effectively fight the guards. Some of the multi-crew experiences as well won't just be having you in a turret, you'll be running around your ship, you could be doing a small boarding action. A lot of this does require some form of player organisation. It's in alpha, a lot of the gameplay mechanics are not signposted or fleshed out, and that's some of the issue. There is seamless transitions from your ship to EVA or to landing, which are pretty impressive. The FPS animations and gameplay has evolved in the mini PU somewhat. We've got new weapons, lots of new animations. If you look at the original 2.0 animations and then look at 2.4, there's been a significant improvement, as well as optimization improvements too. And also, I quite like walking around looking at the customization that we can do with armor, clothing, general shopping. That all adds to my experience for first-person shooter gameplay. And when I say FPS, I mean I am including just general first-person exploration as well in that. The freedom to move around in the mini PU and explore on foot is great, and only hampered by the limits of what we can do at the moment. I know that sounds quite obvious, but if you think about it, a lot of stuff does need to be signposted. There's not really things telling us what to do. There's combat, but why would we do it? I have seen players organise staff-era capital-sized ship battles, boarding parties, giant assaults on Korea on foot and in ship, huge multi-crew battles. There are people who pretty much live at Korea as well, murdering people for a living, gaining money that way, and those that steal and hijack ships. There is a lot going on, but finding that gameplay, not being signposted to it, is quite annoying, and reasons to go out and do it, and why and how, they need to be given to us. So why am I talking about all of this now? Well, it's about what Chris said on the 20th of June in 10 for the Chairman 85. Now, I know Chris gets told off for giving false time-based hopes, and this wasn't edited out. In fact, it was done quite obviously. So, it's probably pretty damn correct. I've just realised how hard it's going to be to talk like Chris because of his criticisms and the way he talks. Anyway, let's give it a go. I think you guys will be seeing some stuff from us on the FPS stuff in the not too distant future, and I think you'll like it because there's some stuff we haven't shown or shared where we've made some really nice breakthroughs in how our FPS sort of movement mechanics work, and it's really playing nice and smooth internally. Figure out a way to get you guys that, to just be able to play that and have fun with it, so you know that that long rumoured dead thing may appear again. This is great to hear. I really want Star Marine, and it sounds like they might have fixed some of their major blockers that Star Marine was facing in the past. The network code, jukes, animation syncing, that sort of stuff that plagued possibly its delay. And then when 2.0 came out, they went, well, we don't need to work on this, we need to be concentrating on Squadron 42 and some of the other persistent universe mechanics. I mean, I want everything now, actually. I want everything now. This is a way, Star Marine, to get a load of my other mates into the game, and a game that I love, for me to also practice my FPS combat skills in Star Citizen rather than just my piloting ones. So, the wider implementation from Squadron 42, that's happening at the moment. Squadron 42 has had that motion capture shoots and all that sort of stuff. All of that work and all the work they're doing on Squadron 42 in general, the animation, the engine work, is all going to filter down into Star Marine, the persistent universe. And I expect as that's wrapping up more and more, they're going to get more and more working into this FPS, fleshing out that multiplayer FPS experience. And it is significantly different from the single player, but a load of the animations and a load of the groundwork's there for them to then finish off the multiplayer. A lot of the assets are there too. When they've got a load of their artists, a load of their animation guys, a load of their network guys free, then they're going to be able to work on that Star Marine experience. So what do I want now? What do we need now? So we need more flesh on that first-person shooter experience. We don't necessarily need Star Marine, though I do want it, and I'll probably come back to it in a second and say that I definitely want it. But we need more flesh on the FPS experience in the mini persistent universe. More first-person shooter weapons. We desperately really need those gadgets and grenades. I can't see the word desperately, apparently. armor, more armor, modular armor. We want loadouts, loadout options. In fact, I think we saw the loadouts menu kind of accidentally got snuck in to one of the releases of Star Citizen, which they quickly removed. Also, more places to do first-person shooter combat. We've got Korea, and occasionally you might see someone in Kovalex, if you're unlucky, who will open up a fire on you. But more places than just Korea. I'd like occasional attacks on Olisar. I'd like to be able to log in and Port Olisar to be under attack and us to have to repel NPCs or other players or something. Boarding as well. When we have boarding, that is going to open up a whole new FPS world. So more multi-crew in general as well. Other mechanics will force more FPS gameplay. More FPS gameplay to survive, basically. And month on month, we're going to see gameplay additions. We're going to see more from the FPS gameplay. We're going to see more improvements to animations, performance, network code. Maybe sooner than we think we might get that arcade mode, Star Marine. But it needs to be done in an almost finished game standard, or at least a very impressive standard on its first release. Star Citizen could attract a load of FPS gamers, which have looked at Star Citizen but have gone, not for me at the moment. But they have to be impressed at the first stage, at the first play. Otherwise, they'll lose interest. There are certainly some barriers to entry to Star Citizen when you look at the rigs involved, especially currently, that you need to play. A gaming computer will need to be pretty damn powerful to play Star Citizen Alpha. It's unoptimized, it's unpolished, but even when it is, even when they make it really scalable, even when they try and make it work on a lot of systems, I still think you're going to need a relatively modern rig to play it. That's going to cut out a huge amount of the community. So they need to get that FPS right. They need to attract as many people as they can to get the game as many people in as possible, because that's what you want from an FPS, that's what you want from an MMO, that's what you want from a multiplayer experience that's all splashed together. More people to play against, more people to give you emergent gameplay. Star Marine isn't necessary for the development of Star Citizen to continue. In fact, all it is really now is that Satterball game mode and the ability to jump into matches quickly with teams to play in an FPS setting quickly. Now, as a gamer, I want this. I do want this. I even want Satterball, which I probably won't play very much. But yeah, that just ease of access to be able to jump in and play, that's just really appealing. Even when Star Marine is released as well, actually, I doubt that Satterball will be in its first iteration. I think that will require more work, because they need to get the zero gravity really nailed down, and they need to make that fun more than just a couple of rounds. Most of the work at CIG on Star Citizen is for assets for Squadron 42, but once Episode 1 is nearing completion, I would expect torrents of updates to the mini persistent universe and the FPS. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my rant on Star Marine and my general thought dump. A lot of this is my own opinion, but I mean, it's reasonably well researched. I've been thinking about it loads recently, and how many other people that would probably jump into the game once we can see that fleshed out FPS mechanic. And it needs to be easy for them to get into play. Anyway, we have a Buccaneer giveaway through June. All you need to do is comment on any of my Star Citizen YouTube videos during June to be in for a chance to win that. You don't even need to be subscribed, although I would prefer that. That'll be nice. Thank you so much to my Patreons who have helped me get a new Blue Yeti Pro microphone. At the moment, the one I'm using is my normal Blue Yeti, and it's dying a little bit. My voice quality is gone downhill, so I'm getting a new one of them, and when I say new one, I'm getting the Pro, which is the best. A car's going past my house, which is going to make the sound even weirder. Also, I got a 1080 GTX for my PC, which will be arriving tomorrow, and I'm excited for all the frames. So I'll do some frame rate based stuff on the 1080, see if it's actually good for Star Citizen. It might not be optimized for Star Citizen at all. It might give me a lower frame rate than my 970 does. My scrapyard PC is awaiting one cable, and then I will show you how to get great performance in Star Citizen with a whole new PC on very high settings, 1080p, for around $300 or £210. That's a whole PC, excluding monitor, mouse, keyboard, but everything else, including graphics card, earbuds. It is secondhand, but it's repeatable. I can show people how to do it. It will be a guide. So that's enough of me plugging myself. But please like and subscribe. Tell me, do you care about Star Marine as a game mode? Do you care about FPS as a game mode? Would you rather them concentrate on getting content into the mini persistent universe instead. It doesn't necessarily have to be FPS stuff. Do you only care about spaceships and pretty artwork? Do you think it's a scam? Then stop watching my channel, because it's all about Star Citizen. And I will see you in the verse.